Tonight on the Night Beat, a community on edge after two teens died in a weekend car crash. It was in an area some are saying is prone to accidents. What neighbors are saying needs to be done so this doesn't happen again tonight at 10. But one of the fastest growing cities in the nation, according to the U.S. Census, is New Braunfels. It is perhaps best known for Wurstfest and tubing and, of course, the German food. But back in 1845, it was nothing more than a small German settlement struggling to survive.
In tonight's History Untold, Jesse Degollado tells us about plans to honor the many who died not long after they finally arrived in what is now known as New Braunfels.
Long before there was the iconic bandstand and the roundabout encircling Main Plaza and the New Braunfels we know now, many of the first German families who settled here died within the first 2 years after crossing the unforgiving Texas frontier.
A lot of people had pneumonia. A lot of people had dysentery. They might have been ill on the way up here and died when they got here. Common cold could kill you back then. Of course, the Texas heat would have gotten to them.
So many men, women, and children were dying, 3 a day at one point. They had to be buried in unmarked graves.
We think there's at least 350, closer probably to 400 people are buried within a 1-acre plot in this cemetery.
It's the area marked off by large blocks of limestone. Ground-penetrating radar showed they weren't in a mass grave, they were buried individually. But without lumber for coffins, they've been wrapped in shrouds. Some of their descendants have placed markers nearby, yet Lynn Thompson on the city's Parks Department Cemetery Committee says so far, less than half of the needed $125,000 has been raised to turn an unmarked field of graves into a lasting memorial. Given the historical significance of the site, they say an archaeological study must be done before they can start work on the memorial itself.
You know, we have trees to plant, paths to make, there'll be some benches that you can sit on.
And a meditation meadow to pause, reflect, and remember.
Kind of a place of calm repose that people can come and honor their relatives.
The founding families who never got to realize their dreams in a new land. In New Braunfels, Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
Nice way to honor those folks. All right. It's nice to have a little bit of a cool down here if you want to consider 95 cool.
You know, you don't think it makes a difference, but it does if you're not over 100.
Especially the clouds, right? We started off the day with clouds. Those clouds really stuck around for most of the day, but we're seeing a little bit more sunshine right now, and that sun is acting as fuel to fire off a few thunderstorms, mainly thunderstorms that come off of that sea breeze there. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom into parts of Karnes County right now, nearer to Wilson County and DeWitt County. Right near Yorktown. That's where we're dealing with an isolated thunder shower. These are your run-of-the-mill summertime thunder showers, isolated downpours. If you're under one of these downpours, it's raining fairly heavily, but notice how separated they are. If these storms can hold together and make it to southeast Bexar County, they would get to east and southeast Bexar County closer to 8 o'clock tonight. Now, that doesn't leave much time for the storms to stick around because, again, remember, they're fueled by the sun. So once we see the sunset, all of our rain is going to go away. You can see down in Frio County and southern Frio County, we're seeing one of these storms too. If it can hold together and make it to Pearsall, it would be there by about 7 o'clock. Otherwise, we've got a few thunderstorms and showers out west, a little bit of light rain out near Eagle Pass, and then over in northern Edwards County, an isolated storm. So there's a small potential here, 20% throughout the remainder of the peak heat of the day through about 8 p.m. to see an isolated downpour. Take a look at clouds and temperatures today. Temperatures did stay under that triple-digit mark because we started off with quite a bit of cloud cover. It's only 90 in Del Rio. It's not all that often that Del Rio is cooler than San Antonio, but that is the case. And take a look at the nation. You can see that a lot of rain is falling across the nation right now. That's because that pesky heat high that made things very hot for us in June has dissipated. In its wake, though, we are going to see another heat high move over by the weekend. Here's where that heat high is right now, and take a look at these temperatures. 115 in Phoenix and 110 in Las Vegas. We're not going to get that hot, but that just shows that that heat high is fairly strong in the desert Southwest. southwest. Until that heat high moves overhead, though, we're going to have these daily chances for isolated afternoon showers and storms, but that heat high will be overhead by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and next week, at least part of next week. And you can see that highs go back into the triple-digit range by Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of next week, about 10 degrees warmer than the average. So looking at the futurecast again, tomorrow's going to look a lot like today for your 4th of July. So we'll start off with clouds, we'll have some afternoon sun, and then in the afternoon and early evening hours, we'll have some of those isolated coastal showers and storms. There's a 20% chance that that could make it towards San Antonio by about sunset. And then after sunset, firework displays, we're not going to have any chance for rain after sunset. Looking at your KSAT 12-hour forecast for your 4th of July, 78 and mostly cloudy in the morning, 84 and mostly cloudy at 10, 89 and mostly cloudy at noon, and then in the afternoon, partly cloudy, a little bit more sun, and there's that 20% chance for an isolated downpour. 97 for the high, very similar to today, and a wind from the south at 10 to 15. Here's a look at the forecast highs tomorrow. 94 Uvalde, 96 in Hondo, 96 in Canyon Lake. It'll be 93 in Helotes, 96 in Seguin, 93 in Kerrville, and 94 in Comfort. Here's that firework forecast for you. Tomorrow the sun sets at 8:38, 20% chance for an isolated shower storm up until the sunset, and then 86 at 10 p.m., right around the time that firework displays come to an end, and by midnight, 84. Looking ahead, again, the heat cranks back up by Saturday and Sunday, so enjoy the quote-unquote cooler weather while you can.
Thanks, Sarah. We'll take it, whatever it is.
All right, after several unmemorable Spurs seasons, they have found their way to relevancy again, so much so that we care what's happening during Summer League play.
Yeah, Summer League, it's been a very busy offseason, and we're going to tip things off tonight out there on the West Coast. The Spurs are finally getting back to, get this, how about playing some basketball? We're getting close to the start of the California Classic. We'll have a live report from Sacramento coming right up. And the UTSA football coaching staff all smiles today. It's not because of just the barbecue they're going to eat tomorrow. After the Roadrunners land the highest rated recruit in program history, sports is coming up right after the break.
What a way to end the season as the Spurs just toy with the Mavericks.
For the first time since April 9th right there, we are going to get some Spurs basketball. It's Spurs Game Day live from Sacramento. We're less than an hour away from the start of Summer League play for your San Antonio Spurs. We're finally getting back to basketball after a busy offseason for the Silver and Black that included drafting #1 overall pick Victor Wembanyama. Tonight is a chance for the rookies and young guys to get some game action before the Vegas Summer League tips off later on this week. And all eyes are on the Summer Spurs in Sacramento, and that's where we find our Larry Ramirez, who is live on the West Coast with a look ahead at tonight's game. How are things looking, Larry?
You know what? So far, so good. And right now, the Heat and the Lakers are playing on the court here at Golden One Center. They are the first game, and of course, the Spurs are the second one. So it is Summer League action today for the San Antonio Spurs, who will take on the Charlotte Hornets in the first day of the California Classic right here in Sacramento. And you know what? We've seen a lot of Spurs jerseys walking around here inside the arena. Now, the Spurs flew in Saturday, and then on Sunday held practice at the Sacramento Kings old practice facility just outside of town. That building is now home to the G League Stockton Kings. The Spurs Cali Classic roster is 16 deep and features Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, Julian Champagnie, and Dominic Barlow, who were all with the Spurs last season. And look out for former Texas Longhorns guard Sir Jabari Rice, who signed a two-way deal with the Silver and Black. Not here, of course. #1 draft pick Victor Wembanyama. He'll join the team in Vegas. Yesterday at practice, we asked Malachi Branham what has he learned about Wemby during his short time of getting to know him.
Yeah, you know, he's an all-team guy. He's for the team. He's not for himself. And not like I learned that from the first day. From the first day I saw him, you know, he wants to learn. You know, in the plays that we was running, we asking questions. So he's just ready to learn.
The Charlotte Hornets select.
Tonight will mark the debut of the NBA's second overall draft pick, Brandon Miller, a 6'9" forward from Alabama. The Hornets signed him to his rookie contract on Saturday. Now, if not for Wemby, Miller was in line to be the top pick in the NBA draft. During his freshman campaign, he won the SEC Player of the Year and then declared for the NBA draft. What does Dominic Barlow think about playing him tonight?
He's a super talented wing. Definitely gonna be a problem, but I think we're ready to compete against him, and we want to play guys like that. That's what's going to help us throughout the season. When you're playing the LeBrons and the KD, you want to be able to play those high draft picks, those high-level guys, and I think he's a high-level guy himself, so we're just going to have to close in on him and make sure he doesn't get off early.
Well said. It is setting up to be a good night of basketball. The Spurs will face the Hornets tonight at 7 o'clock San Antonio time. And, of course, we will have your highlights and post-game reaction on the Night Beat. RJ, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Larry. Should be fun out there in Sacramento. Well, it's the offseason, but UTSA is making all kinds of moves, especially on the recruiting trail. The Roadrunners just got a verbal commitment from 4-star safety Kenyon Kelly out of Denison High School. That's near the Texas-Oklahoma border. Kelly is the highest-rated high school recruit in program history and has offers from, get this, schools like LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Baylor, and Michigan State, but he chose the Roadrunners. Coach Jeff Traylor now has 8 verbal commitments for the class of 2024, and this list continues to be impressive. And UTSA Athletics officially has a new conference home. UTSA made the move to the American Athletic Conference over the weekend. The Roadrunners joined 5 other schools from Conference USA to make the jump to the AAC. The move means more TV and brand exposure for UTSA Athletics. All right, guys, so a lot going on there. We also have some early fireworks from the Rangers-Astros game, a crazy game out there in Arlington. We're going to have highlights and full details on that coming up at 10 o'clock.
All right, it's nice to see Larry inside today instead of baking out.
He's, yes, being outside, a lot better situation for him.
Absolutely. Thank you, RJ.
Yeah.
Coming up at our next half hour, after the Supreme Court handed down a series of landmark decisions at the end of last week, many people are wondering what comes next. We'll break down what it all means.
Plus, a mass shooting in Baltimore over the weekend leaves 2 people dead and 28 other injured. The latest on the search for the shooter and the warning from law enforcement this 4th of July. Now to the latest on mass shootings around the country this holiday weekend. In Baltimore, 2 people killed and 28 others wounded in a shooting at a block party.
Also, there were shootings this weekend in Wichita, Kansas, and Chicago. ABC's Rena Roy with the warning ahead of the holiday.
An urgent manhunt underway in Baltimore. Police searching for the people responsible for unleashing this violence that left at least 2 people dead and more than 24 injured. Authorities in Baltimore now raising reward money in the mass shooting, offering $28,000 for any information leading to the arrests of the people responsible for opening fire early Sunday morning at this block party.
I strongly urge anyone with any information to help us bring these individuals to justice.
Police say 20-year-old Kylie Sfagbemi and 18-year-old Aaliyah Gonzalez were killed and 28 others injured. 7 of them still hospitalized, 4 in critical condition.
Let's not forget that we are talking about human lives. The effects that gun violence has on our community and trauma experienced by all friends, loved ones, and neighbors.
With the urgent manhunt still ongoing, officials urging people to be vigilant as 4th of July celebrations continue.
We want people to do that, but I implore everyone to please be safe.
This woman, who didn't want to be identified, was at the party when the violence broke out. She says 2 girls walked up to her and said they were shot.
You guys jump in my car, let's go. And zoomed them to the hospital, and I kept telling the girl, just baby, just breathe in and out. It was horrible. Families coming in, families crying, families running to the back, families coming out like they had lost loved ones.
Meanwhile, in Wichita, Kansas, 8 people were shot at a nightclub early Sunday morning, 2 in critical condition, a suspect now in custody. And across Chicago, 32 people shot over the weekend, 3 fatally.
We are just over halfway through the year, and so far the Gun Violence Archive says there have been 340 mass shootings. Just to give some context, in 2018 there were 336 mass shootings for the whole year. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
News around America. There are now rewards of up to $20,000 for information in a series of explosive attacks on businesses in Washington, D.C. over the weekend. Police say those attacks happened in a span of about 15 minutes early Sunday. A suspect set off explosive devices on a sidewalk near an ATM, in front of a Nike store, and then threw a Molotov cocktail-style object at a Safeway. No one was hurt, but all 3 locations were damaged. The businesses were closed at the time of the attacks. D.C. Metro Police and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives are each offering a $10,000 reward. Investigators believe the suspect was targeting commercial establishments and not members of the public.
Americans traditionally celebrate the 4th of July holiday weekend with fireworks, but here's a safety reminder to make sure your fireworks are completely out and no longer hot after you set them off. In Lehigh Acres, Florida, some used fireworks dumped in a trash can reignited. The fire scorched a nearby pickup truck. The fire department recommending that you use metal containers filled with water away from your property to dispose of all used fireworks trash. Now, officials also say to make sure the water inside the container completely covers all of the fireworks.
The Supreme Court ended a blockbuster term with several dramatic decisions that are likely to reverberate through much of the country, especially when it comes to higher education.
Yeah, from affirmative action to student debt relief, the new rulings are all raising questions about the real-world implications. Mike Valerio explains what these decisions could mean for you.
As the proverbial dust settles around the United States Supreme Court following a contentious term, the immediate consequences for everyday Americans are becoming more clear.
The Roberts Court these days is more eager to overturn older precedents than any court we've had at least probably in the last century.
In striking down affirmative action programs at Harvard and the University of North Carolina, the court effectively determined colleges and universities can no longer expressly consider race in the admissions process.
It prevents our higher education institutions from using a tool that helps promote diversity on campus.
And while the court suggests the impact of an applicant's race in their life can still be taken into consideration, and proponents of ending affirmative action say it makes the process more fair, many fear diversity in higher education will suffer in the long term.
I'm very concerned about the morale that is going to have on our minority youth.
For those who are already in or have gone to college, the court also struck down President Biden's student loan debt cancellation program, a win for Republican-led states and conservatives who claimed it was illegal.
We're talking about 40 million Americans that are going to be crushed by debt in just a few months.
As the administration works to find a new approach to debt relief, the 3-year pause on loan repayment started during the pandemic is soon expiring. Borrowers will have to resume paying their federal student loans in October, with interest set to begin accumulating again in September. The White House says, however, it will offer a 12-month on-ramp period for borrowers who are re-entering payment. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Coming up on the news at 6:30, if you plan on setting off fireworks this Independence Day, there are some safety tips you'll want to keep in mind. Coming up, find out how you can stay safe this 4th of July.